Hey guys, welcome back to the Autohound, and thanks again for joining me for another video. I'd like to once again thank my friends at Boston Exclusive Auto Rentals, or NoBoringCarsMA.com, for renting me this amazing Toyota GR86. This is a 2022 version, and this is a 2.4 liter engine that makes 228 horsepower with a manual transmission, and it also has an automatic as an option. And you'll see that I mentioned that in the test drive as well a little bit later, but I just wanted to let you know it has really razor sharp handling and provides kind of thrills both on the road and even on the highway. It's a nice car to be in. It's really roomy inside. I enjoyed every minute of it. So let's take a walk around and get a really good idea of what this car is all about. So walking around the car, I do have the hood already pre-popped, but I'll show you where it's popped from. On the side it says GR for Gazoo Racing. Has really nice sporty mirrors, and I really like the back of the car as well as the front, and they did a really good job designing it. I like the GR86 with the Toyota badge in the middle. Again, Toyota, they don't overdo it. They made it really nice. It's got the twin port exhaust, which is sweet, and it has the backup lights at the bottom and the brake lights as well. I really like the little alloy rims and these cool little fender flares right here, along with the side bottom rocker panel. Here's the engine of the GR86, and you can see that it is a D45 boxer engine, and it says Toyota and Subaru. So Subaru does actually make this engine, and I read that earlier before I started reviewing the car. And once again, what I really like about it, it's simple. It's easy to work on. You don't have to worry about, taking off this cover or that cover. Everything is already uncovered and exposed. This car is definitely set up to do a lot of modifications to it, and I especially like the cross braces right there and right there. Getting into the car, you can see really big, huge cockpit for such a small car. Right in here in the front, you have the seat adjustment that pulls forward, and you're not going to fit someone back there unless they're really small or baby seats. However, I don't think the idea of this car is to have 4 people in it. You can put one person across like I used to do when I was smaller, but certainly isn't isn't built for comfort in the back seat. But these seats are plenty comfortable. These seats are nicely bolstered right here and right here. Gives a lot of solid presence to the feel of the car. So this is the interior of the Toyota GR86. It is quite nice. It's very sporty. It's in a very small back seat. So here's your door lock and unlock right here. This right here is your mirrors left and right, and you can adjust them. Over here you have your window switches. A little cup holder right here, which is nice. You don't see that every day. Over here is the trunk release, and this right here is the dashboard lights to make them brighter or dimmer. Let's start the car up. I think it's got a cool startup sequence. So this one has manual seats. So you push down on the clutch. That's a really cool startup feature. I still have the little GR spinning up there, caution, obey traffic. So let's kind of go through some of the options on the car and see what it has. So you could do your source, which is your media sources, and it has a very responsive system. There's your home button right here. I'll shut the volume off, and you could take a look that you could go louder on the volume or lower on the volume on the steering wheel. Change the channel. Here's your phone. Change the source on the radio, which is over here in the infotainment section. Has a nice little maintenance feature where you can see all the maintenance you need to do to the vehicle, which is right here, in some different settings. You could also change your radio station from here, left and right. Here's your phone and some apps that you could go into, and you could have Apple CarPlay, which is very nice. Here on the center console, you can see different features in the car. So there's your radio and your trip odometer, or your trip screen, and also no messages for warnings, which is good. Shows you the average miles per gallon, which is 24.8, which is nice, and 257 miles distance to empty. So it's got a smaller size fuel tank, but it's a lot of fun to drive. And this right here shows you how much you're pressing on the brake, and it also shows you under acceleration, which is kind of neat, and it shows you where your wheels are turned left to right and back to zero. So watch left, and you can see how it's going left and then back to right hand side. Right there. So I like that, so it's back to zero, so I know the car is dead straight. It has your other features, which is a full fuel tank, and of course the coolant temperature of the car. Over here are the lights. So the lights turn on, off, and there's an auto feature right there. And on this stock is the wipers, and it's the front wiper and rear wiper. And down here you have your cruise control feature, which is pretty sweet. Down here it says GR Racing, or GR. It's the start-stop button for the car. And here is your climate controls. Simple, really easy. You could take a look how they're synced together if you do it from this side. Now if my hand gets in there, it might get a little blurry, but you could sync everything together, which is nice, just by hitting that little sync button down here. Here's your recirculator, different modes for your air conditioning, and you could turn it on and off, and then you have your auto, and that'll set the temperature for you. Right over in here you have a nice sized glove box. You could fit a lot in there, which is neat. You also have a little bit of storage over there for a drink holder. The traction control is right here on the car, and this right here is for the track. So if you go on the racetrack, you could turn that on, and the car goes a little bit faster, a little bit less traction control, which is nice. When you are shifting the car and you put your foot down on the clutch, if you want to get into reverse, this little piece comes up, over, and up, and now you're in reverse. Has a great backup camera, really quality stuff. Put that back into neutral, and right over here you press this button, watch how it opens. How neat's that? Really nice and dampened. It has an aux switch right here. It has your USB adapter, USB-A, USB-C, which is really neat. And this closes up, and those are also cup holders in there. And my personal favorite, the handbrake. It has a handbrake in this car, folks. How cool is that? Cars don't come with handbrakes these days, so it's nice to see that they do. Here are your emergency flashers. Up here is your SOS button and your assistance button. Don't press those. And these, of course, are your lights. And they turn off and on with the car. And that is it for the interior of the Toyota GR86. Shall we go outside and get wet? Let's do it. Driving the 2022 Toyota GR86. It's quite a nice little car. I've gone and drive just a little bit just now, and I will tell you, it's a lot of fun to drive. It's small, it's really peppy, and it has some torque to it. It's a little raining right now, so I'm not gonna get on it like I could, but it's not on getting on these cars. It's about as much fun as you could have in a nice little car. This is, like I said, the GR86, and GR stands for Gazoo Racing. It's Toyota's racing division, and the Gazoo Racing heritage comes from the CEO of Toyota, Akio, and Akio says that man made roads and road made man, which I think is a really great analogy of what we've done as a society, just to build all these great roads. And we've had roads all along from days of the chuck wagon. So now we have these amazing highways and super stretches of roadway that we could have a lot of fun in these great cars with. And again, my friends at Boston Exclusive Auto Rental, noboringcarsma.com, have agreed to let me rent one of their vehicles and do a review on it. And it has a ton of power, which I've already discussed the amount of horsepower this car has. First impressions, it's really, really torquey, and I like the amount of torque that it has. It's not too much. It's a lot of fun to drive. I'll be honest, I miss a stick shift. I am a stick shift survivor, if you will, and anytime I can get myself into a manual transmission, I jump at the chance, just because they're kind of going out of style. My last car was a stick shift, but this one, it's really responsive. It's quick to get into the gears, and it doesn't feel heavy. Actually, it feels nice and light, but not light where you feel no connection to the road or to your transmission. I think this is a great daily driver too. And when you get in a car like this and you daily drive it, I think you just have more fun. Downshifting is super easy. My goodness. It's mechanical in nature, but not cumbersome. And that's what I like about Toyota cars. They do know how to put together something that is driver focused. The car does 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds. However, I've read on Car and Driver that they got it down to about 5.4 seconds. This car does have track mode in it. It also has the ability to shut off traction control, so you can bring it on the track, have a really grand old time at autocross or something like that. I would say that my overall impression of the car is it is designed with the function of being fun. And you don't find a lot of cars like this. It reminds me a lot of the Mazda Miata when it first came out. It's a lot of fun to drive, but it's way roomier and it feels bigger, but it's not. Nice wide berth in the cabin here, so it's comfortable and it's easy to drive, and it's not as bumpy as the Miata was, that's for sure. But they're real race cars. They do a lot of rallies in these cars. They do a lot of other events throughout the world. And so Gazoo Racing is what the GR stands for. 86, not quite sure. I just think they like the number 86. Could be lucky, I don't know. But looking at how quickly this car responds, it's quite nice. I'm noticing that the revs come right back down to earth very, very quickly. So there's not a lot of area for rev hang, which is really nice. The car feels a lot more torquey than it is, but it's a sweet little car. So my initial impressions past that are that the car is designed for the daily driver, but it's also designed for the track. I can see this car having a lot of fun on a regular racetrack or an autocross, because it's just so incredibly agile and nimble. It does not feel heavy at all, and it kind of has this soul to it. It's really nice. It sounds nice when you're revving it up and when you're revving it down. And you know, here's a quick downshift. Very nice. It just feels very, very easy to get into gear. There's no fighting it. There's no kind of arguing with it, if you will. It's a really nice, really, really nice car. Now everything is, you know, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, and realistically, who could afford that? It kind of makes no sense to me. When we drive these cars, we want to be able to afford them and have fun and not worry about maintenance. And let's talk about maintenance for a minute. This is a Toyota. Toyotas are bulletproof. I drive a 20-year-old Toyota RAV4 with 190,000 miles on it, and it still is my daily driver. And yes, I have my track car for the weekend and my weekend fun car, but my daily driver is a Toyota. And also, people buy them because they're the right car to buy at that time. You know, and they're affordable, and they're affordable not only to own, but they're affordable to fix. And that's important, you know, in the world of gas mileage, you know, being super important, with gas prices being, you know, $5, $6 a gallon in some places. You really want to make sure that, you know, you're getting a car that has good gas mileage and has a lot of fun factor to it. What's the point of driving boring cars? Hence my friends over at noboringcarsma.com. So if you want to rent this car, it's for rent, and it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. You know, this has really been kind of a dream to come out and, you know, review the Bronco the other day, and now I'm reviewing something completely different, a little bit more tactile. I can't express enough how much joy you get out of just getting in this car and moving it around and working your way through the gears. And I'm a manual head. I love manual cars. I think that, you know, it's going to be a dinosaur pretty soon as far as those being offered. Everything's going to go to paddle shifters, and there is something to being connected to a car when you're driving a stick shift. It does come in an automatic mode. I think that the automatic mode would take something away from it. I mean, I could be wrong. So this has been the Autohound once again. I really wanted to thank my friends at Boston Exclusive Auto Rental for renting me this beautiful Toyota GR86. And if you do want to rent it, go to noboringcarsma.com. And if you like this type of content, please make sure you like, you comment, and you subscribe. And remember, it's about the drive.